When people think about tech, they usually think about places like Silicon Valley or some places in China or in Africa, Rwanda, Kenya. Somalia is not a country that typically comes up in that conversation, but that's starting to change and fast. Over the past year, this country has shown a remarkable ability to move quickly, build boldly, and leapfrog technology that other nations have spent decades trying to catch up on. Satellite internet live nationwide, a digital ID system connecting millions to banking, a national cybersecurity framework, and a government stepping up on the world stage of digital global policy. And just this week, the International Telecommunication Union, the UN body that governs global communications, named Somalia the #1 country in ICT regulatory reform. That's out of 194 nations, Somalia was named #1. This is a story about Somalia's digital revolution, and as someone connected to this region, this one's personal for me. So let's get into it. To understand how significant Somalia's digital transformation is, you need to start with something that often surprises people. Somalia is already one of the most cashless societies in Africa. No traditional bank needed. Somalia didn't wait around for banks to arrive. It built its own financial system around the technology people already have in their pockets. That's the mindset that defines Somalia's relationship with technology, not waiting around for infrastructure to catch up, finding innovative ways to build around it, over it, and past it. As of 2025, Somalia has approximately 5.5 million internet users out of a population of nearly 20 million, a penetration rate of 27 to 30%, and that number is growing fast. And the developments of the past 12 months suggest that number is about to grow a great deal faster. Because Somalia has spent the past year laying the foundations of a genuine digital economy, and the pace of change has been remarkable. In April 2025, Somalia's National Communications Authority granted Starlink a 10-year license to operate in the country. And by the 5th of August 2025, the service was live nationwide, covering every corner of the country from Mogadishu to the most remote rural regions. What makes this interesting and notable isn't just the technology, it's the speed. While more developed markets such as South Africa and Kenya spent years stuck in regulatory reform over the licenses, Somalia moved quickly, cleanly, and decisively. Technology Minister Mohammed Adam Maalim Ali described it as a step towards affordable internet for all Somalis. That kind of regulatory agility is exactly what attracts global investments. What Starlink offers that no ground-based infrastructure can match is universal coverage. It operates through a constellation of 7,000 low Earth orbit satellites, delivering download speeds of 100 to 270 megabits per second with low latency to any location with a clear view of the sky. For rural health clinics, NGOs, schools, and businesses that operate in areas that have never had reliable internet, this is transformative. You set up the dish, point it to the sky, and you're online. Pricing remains a challenge for ordinary households, but that is the next problem to solve. But the infrastructure is there and the foundation has been laid. And importantly, Somalia has shown the world it can cut through red tape and get things done faster than countries with far more resources. Alongside the Starlink rollout, Somalia has been building something arguably even more foundational, a national digital identity system. Access to a legal identity is one of the most powerful tools for economic inclusion anywhere in the world. Without an ID, you can't open a bank account, access government services, or participate fully in the formal economy. Somalia's government recognized this and moved decisively. In May 2025, NIRA or NIRA, Somalia's National Identification Registration Authority, launched 3 interconnected platforms. Hubiye, meaning to check in Somali, is a real-time identity verification tool used by banks and government bodies. Next is e-Akonsi, is a mobile app that gives citizens a digital version of their national ID with full legal validity, the same authority as a physical card. And finally, the certificate delivery system provides a secure infrastructure for issuing official documents. The human impact of this is real. The World Bank, which has supported the project, documented the story of Jijo, a young Somali woman who had worked in Mogadishu since her teenage years, who had supported her family back in her hometown of Bakol. She had never possessed any form of personal identification, not once before in her life. When she registered for Somali's new digital identification, she simply described it as finally having something that belonged to her. A door to opportunities that she had never been able to access before, and this story has been repeated across the country. The numbers reflect this momentum. Somalia is targeting 15 million national IDs issued by 2029. Nearly 2 million people have already registered. The Central Bank of Somalia has mandated the digital ID for banking access, making the e-Agonsi app a gateway for financial inclusion for millions of people who have never held a bank account. Is the rollout perfect? No. Connectivity and digital literacy remain challenges, especially in remote areas. And the government is working to ensure the system reaches everyone. The architecture is there, the momentum is real, and the direction is clear. Building the digital infrastructure is one thing, securing it and governing it properly is another. And Somalia is tackling both with real seriousness. In January 2026, Somalia's Council of Ministers approved the country's first public data protection regulation, a formal legal framework for protecting citizens' digital data, aligning Somalia with international standards on data privacy. This is foundational legislation that many African countries have only recently started to introduce. In early 2026, the World Bank funded a specialized cybersecurity certification program for Somali IT professionals, implemented in partnership with the African Advanced Level Telecommunications Institute. Government staff are being trained to the same internationally recognized certification standards as IT professionals pursue in the UK and US. For those of you watching who work in IT, you know exactly how significant the investment in human capability is. The first cohort of 15 government officials from 21 institutions completed the program just this month. In March 2026, Somalia also launched SOMCIRT, the Somalia Computer Incident Response Team, the country's first dedicated national cybersecurity center, designed to monitor and respond to cyber threats against critical digital infrastructure in real time. And recently, Somalia's NCA Director General Mustafa Yassin Sheikh was at the ITU's Global Symposium for Regulators in Ankara, making the case for harmonized regional protocols across the Horn of Africa for satellite internet governance and cross-border fintech regulation. Somalia is not sitting at the back of the room in these conversations, it is standing up and shaping them. That is a meaningful shift and one that deserves recognition. Zoom out and Somalia's story fits into a much larger and genuinely exciting pattern across East Africa. The continent's digital transformation is often described by using the word leapfrogging. This is the idea that countries can skip entire generations of technology and go straight to the most advanced solutions. Somalia is one of the most compelling examples of this anywhere in the world. It went from no formal banking to almost universal access to mobile money. It's going from limited terrestrial internet to satellite broadband. It's building a digital ID system at a time where countries like the UK are still debating on whether to introduce one or not. There is also a demographic factor that cannot be ignored. Somalia has one of the youngest populations in the world. This is a generation that has grown up with smartphones and that is comfortable with digital transactions. And that has every incentive to build on digital infrastructure rather than wait for physical infrastructure to catch up. The energy and the potential here is enormous. And then there is the diaspora. Somalia has one of the largest diaspora communities in the world, spread across the UK, the US, Scandinavia, the Gulf, and beyond. Many of the people watching this video right now are already part of that community. Diaspora remittances are a significant part of Somalia's economy. Diaspora investment in tech startups and digital infrastructure is growing. And the steps being made right now are directly relevant to how the community connects, invests, and builds back home. And if you still need one final piece of evidence that Somalia's digital transformation is real, this week the International Telecommunications Union, the ITU, the UN's communications body, released its ICT Regulatory Tracker report covering 194 countries. Somalia was named the #1 country in the entire world for telecommunications regulatory reform between 2007 and 2024. Somalia's score went from literally zero in 2007 to 77.5% in 2024, the highest improvement of any nation on earth. To put that into context, Somalia is going from having no formal regulatory ICT framework at all to being ranked ahead of every country on the planet for the pace and quality of its regulatory development in less than 2 decades. There are challenges still ahead. Affordability, digital inclusion, and cybersecurity are challenges that take years to fully solve. But here's the honest truth. A year ago, almost none of this infrastructure existed, and now it does. Somalia is not catching up. In some areas, it's leading. Starlink live nationwide, a digital ID putting formal banking within reach of millions for the first time, a national cybersecurity center up and running, and now officially recognized by the United Nations as the #1 country for ICT regulatory reform. Somalia's digital transformation is one of the most underreported tech stories in the world right now. And I wanted to make sure this channel covered it because these are the stories about our communities and they deserve the same attention as anything coming out of China and Silicon Valley. Drop a comment below. Are you Somali or from East Africa? I genuinely want to hear your perspective on how this is playing out on the ground. And if this video gave you something new to think about, subscribe and share it. It helps the channel grow and it means we can continue covering stories like this one. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.